Am I the asshole for refusing to sign a document my late dad's wife is pressuring me to? My father passed away 3 years ago from lung cancer which spread to his brain toward the end. It was an awful time for us and I miss him terribly. My mum died when I was 15 and when she died her life insurance death in service benefit paid out and it paid off the rest of the mortgage on the house. Due to my dad being, at that time, an aggressive alcoholic I moved out when I was 16. We still maintained a rocky relationship and the later years were much better and we were very close. I loved him so much despite the bad stuff. A couple of years later he met his GF. Eventually they got married around 2015. I never totally got on with her, nothing in common and hard to relate with, but my dad was happy and we had a polite relationship as I wanted my dad to have a companion. I've never considered her a stepmom. Anyway, after he died I found out that his will had been changed 2 weeks before he passed whilst he had a large brain tumor. Without my knowledge, I am one of the executors so was quite surprised I wasn't told, which meant the sale of my parents' home would go from being split 3 ways to her getting half and my brother and I the other half to split. We were not happy with how this went down but we have accepted the change to the will and moved on. She has now decided she wants to sell because she wants to move. She mentioned she wanted to get some work done on the house to increase the sale price and I emailed her saying not to spend much as it wasn't worth it and it was unnecessary. She invited me over a few weeks ago to see the work and to give me some documents. When I got home I looked at the document she wanted me to sign agreeing to deduct nearly £16,000 from the sale of the house to pay herself back for the work. Some of it was done ages ago and clearly for her living comfort and other paperwork only gave quotes for work not actual receipts or invoices. The terms of the will are that she could live there until her death but she is responsible for the upkeep and maintenance as well as bills. She has lived there for 14 years rent-free with my dad and 3 years without him. My friends, family and I think is an absolute piss take to ask us for this money considering it is our family home which not only did both of our parents have to die for her to get but is our only inheritance from our parents. She is now pressuring me to agree to this and I am not happy. I am being bullied by her to sign. She wrote the document, not a solicitor and no solicitor has been involved from her end about this. She has now told me she will withdraw the property from the market if I don't agree. Which honestly even though I am struggling financially and need to pay off debt, I don't care about because if she lived there until she died then the house will just go to me and my brother and her adult kids won't benefit from my parents. So am I the asshole for protecting what's left of mine and my brother inheritance? Edit. Thank you all for your advice and help. It's been very reassuring for me. I'm speaking to legal assistance Friday. Not the asshole. Don't sign that. She wants to take advantage of you. Not the asshole. She is being shady. I would contact the solicitor if your father changed his will 2 weeks before his death with a brain tumor. It could be contested. Not the asshole. Get a lawyer if you can afford and need to. Do not be intimidated by her. Do not sign. Not the asshole. I'm not sure what she hopes to achieve by taking the property off the market if she wants to move. Is she also badgering your brother to sign money over to her? I would suggest getting a solicitor of your own to look over these documents. Some money spent on legal advice now may save you a lot more in the long run. Good luck. Not the asshole. Sign nothing. See if you can get some free face-to-face time with a lawyer to look over the documents she wants you to sign. This sounds shady as hell. Not the asshole. And you should threaten to have future negotiations go through a solicitor if she continues her BS. She sounds like someone who has gone through life taking advantage of others. Don't be her next victim. No dude, don't sign anything. Not the asshole. Get a lawyer involved and your brother as well. This is similar to the way my evil step-grandma screwed my dad and his brothers out of their whole inheritance when my grandpa died. TBH, you could contest a will change when done by someone in the final stages of brain tumor and you seem to have chosen not to do so, which is kind of you. But put your foot down with this, she'll nickel and dime you to death for what's left. Not the asshole, but you need to hire a lawyer immediately. Do not let her live there until she dies with the expectation you will inherit. You should not accept that changed will. Get a experienced estate lawyer involved today. You should get off Reddit and start researching attorneys right away. You and your brother should not let her use your property without an ironclad legal document drawn up by a professional that lines out exactly who pays for all the expenses associated with the ownership and upkeep of the house. She's trying to screw you out of your inheritance and will likely succeed unless you get legal representation. NTA. She sounds like a manipulative person. Especially if she made your dad make changes to his will shortly before dying. Don't sign anything and tell her to fuck off. Not the asshole. I don't think that your dad had any business leaving a house primarily paid off by your mother's death benefits to anybody other than you and your brother. This woman doesn't deserve another penny. You made it clear that you were not willing to invest in home improvements, so, if she chose to pay for home improvements to enhance her own comfort, that's on her. Stand firm. Don't pay her a penny more than she is legally entitled to. Check the terms of the will again. If, as you say, you and your brother would inherit all of the house if she died before it was sold, is she actually entitled to half the sale price? Did she inherit half of the house outright, or for her lifetime only? Hard not the asshole. She can stay there as long as she wants. You recommended against upgrades. That's it. Not the asshole. Don't sign anything. Tell her she needs to drop it or get out now. Keep the house, and if you really wanna sell, wait till she's gone. Since your dad had a tumor when the will changed, maybe you can contest and have it reverted, since you need to be of sound mind to change your will. Drop her. Not the asshole. You should get legal advice before signing anything. This is just common sense. Not the asshole. To be quite honest, I would have contacted a lawyer the minute I discovered that the will had been changed 3 weeks before your father passed from brain cancer, without you, an executor of the will, being notified beforehand that changes were being made. This entire situation is shady AF. Don't sign anything. Contact a lawyer and protect yourself. Do not sign anything. The will should have been thrown out for being made 2 weeks before death. You need an attorney. She is fleecing you. Not the asshole. She scribbles out a suspicious document and wants you to sign? No way, no how. Not the asshole. Don't sign it. The entitlement. My mum died when I was little and my dad married a few years later, and as soon as I turned 18, he changed the papers to put my name in the house he and my mum bought so his wife couldn't pull something like this if anything happened to him. You need to consult a lawyer, not Reddit. Not the asshole. Please do keep an eye on the house though, as she might be spiteful enough to wreck it. A threat to contest the will might help? Would seem to be a sustainable position given that it was made just 2 weeks before his demise from a brain tumor. Please update with the results of your meeting with your union lawyer. Not the asshole. Don't sign that paper. She sounds selfish. Not the asshole. Stand your ground. Don't sign. If she's not gonna sell under the terms agreed to, which were already changed to favor her, let her die there. No loss on your part, just a waiting game at that point. Not the asshole. Get another opinion for sure. A person cannot be said to be of sound mind if he had a tumor in his brain. Also, who's to say she won't try to will the house to her children? That will be an ugly mess of legal battle by itself. Try to get it sorted ASAP. NTA. I can't really elaborate past she took advantage of a dying man. Not the asshole. First you should make sure if the documents are set within legal conditions. If not, you can start legal actions against her. If it is a letter of acceptance, then you have the right to decline and she can do nothing against it. If she withdraw the house, then fine. She is the one who want the most money, so I don't think she will do this because then she get nothing from it. Not the asshole. But get legal advice. Also, consider if she will run down the property if she stays there for a long time, until her death. If she knows she can't get money from the sale, she may dig her heels in. It might be better to pay her off, or agree a settlement figure, effectively costing you £4,000 and your brother the same. £8,000 comes from her share. That way you are rid of her for good. Not the asshole. Don't sign anything and contest the shit out of that will. I doubt it's legal if he had a large brain tumor that killed him 2 weeks later. Also, get a lawyer involved about the house. Not the asshole. Hold your ground. Honestly, if I were you, I would challenge the new will your father supposedly signed. Based on her behavior now, keep all the documents and in texts, emails she has sent you. You could have a good case to say she used similar tactics to bully your sick father into signing a new will when he was not mentally competent. Not the asshole. You've already let her get away with too much. She isn't a good person, and it really sounds like she betrayed your father and took advantage of him when he was in a weak state. Had you contested the will, I assure it would have been restored to what it was when he signed on his right frame of mind. The only papers you should be signing are court papers, summoning her to explain how the will was changed, before a judge. I am not going to bore the op with my life story, but I had to read that twice to make sure you are not my sister with a throwaway account. Not the asshole. Long story short, my stepmother had my dad cremated to save money and said he wanted it. My dad had some issues the last weeks of his life. He never would have agreed to be cremated in his right mind. NTA. Not the asshole op. My deepest condolences and I'm sorry for your loss. While a lot of the advice here is sound, I'd highly recommend you consult with our Legal Advice UK so you can really clear things up before you seek legal assistance on Friday. Be strong and do not let the woman get under your skin and into your head. My family was in a similar situation. My grandma had a trust set up upon her death, and a trusted family member was supposed to be the trustee. While she was in the hospital with brain cancer, her daughter had her sign a document that made the daughter's new husband into the trustee. My family did sue, but it took years. They still didn't get what they would have if the trust hadn't been signed over because the daughter and husband had sold most of the stuff, and it led to being cut off from that part of the family. You're not the asshole, but I don't think contesting the will would be worth it at this point. Info. How could you be the asshole? The worst that will happen to her is nothing, she just gets to keep living there. Where's the guilt from? I hope we get a happy update from this. Not the asshole, no freaking way, she is trying to steal from you. Not the asshole, and absolutely do not sign that. She was to maintain the house. Everybody knows that any improvements you make to a home in order to sell it are almost never going to be returned back to you upon the sale. That's on her that she decided to go ahead and make improvements anyhow. Not the asshole, get a lawyer. Not the asshole. Don't sign anything this woman gives you. I think it's time you saw a legal rep to protect yourself from her. The changing of a will 2 weeks prior to death is sketchy enough, with a brain tumor and all that. Was he really cognizant at that time? But this is getting absurd. She's essentially taking you hostage financially. Info. Are you sure she can't will her half to her kids? Not the asshole, and you really should contest the will. Don't sign anything and get a solicitor ASAP. Edit. I think you are from the UK and you may want to refer this situation to our Legal Advice UK to see where you stand legally. I would not sign if I were you. You should also get second and third opinions on contesting that will. I don't know much about that stuff, but I know that sounds weird. Not the asshole. Lawyer up, sell out, bro down. Look after yourself and your brother. Not the asshole. That house is for you and your brother, do not sign anything. That house was your mother and your father's. She's just benefiting from something that was never hers. Not the asshole. That change in the will? She did it and probably your dad signed without reading. Don't give her a dime more than that. Not the asshole, so send her a letter to deduct any costs to buy or maintain that she did not pay for with her own earnings. Tell her this is to pay you and your brother back your inheritance pre-wifey number 2. Not the asshole. You showed a lot of class not disputing the new terms of splitting half with your brother. This sounds fishy, and I don't think you would have anything to feel bad about by not paying for the repairs, letting her live out her life there if she wants, and then getting the house. One thing I'm confused about with your post. You said she lived there rent-free during all the years she was married to your dad. Of course she did, they were married, and he owned the house. Was he supposed to charge her rent? Not the asshole. Talk to your solicitor about it, but if she's to pay bills and maintenance then it's on her, not you. Wills are nowhere near as easy to contest in the UK as they are in America, but I'd say it being changed drastically within 2 weeks of your father's passing from a brain tumor, with no prior discussion or warning, is grounds for you to at least have a case here. ETA. Not the asshole. She's trying to take you for a ride, and I'd look into a second opinion on contesting the original will. Edit. Not the asshole. Where to start? Drop the word bullying. She's not bullying anyone. You have to allow a bully to take advantage of you. She's just a devious, sneaky woman who is trying her best to defraud her boyfriend's children out of a lot of money which could greatly improve their lives. 1. Get good legal advice. Relate will change. A relative of mine had brain tumors and they were in no fit state to drive, reason, evaluate or redraft wills. 2. Do not cave to the woman's horrible plans. Fight her or she'll disrespect everything you stand for and then run off with your money. You may want to check with a lawyer, but the fact that your dad had a brain tumor when he signed the new will may deem it null and void. You could potentially argue that he wasn't of sound mind when he signed it. You and your brother can benefit from at least one visit with an estate attorney, a consultation to learn what your options are. The will change 2 weeks before his death may be worth looking into now that she is pushing for an increased advantage for herself.